What's poppin', people? Today we're going to be restoring the plastics on this 2002 Honda 400EX, so let's get straight into it. As you can see right here, I don't know how good the GoPro will get it, but basically my plastics have seen better days. There's a lot of swirl scratches, a lot of deep scratches, and all sorts of shit on here, and just really faded parts. The paint just does not look good anymore. And basically, we're going to do a quick and easy way to restore it, at least make it look a little bit better. It's not going to be perfect because this is a 18-year-old plastic panel right here, but we're going to make it look a lot better. So on the other side, I already gave her a good shot and try to do my best and learn some things from it. So we're going to go on to this side, and today I'm going to show you what I did to do it for a reasonable amount of money. So I'll show a couple different methods to doing it, and let's just get right into it. I got a bunch of random stuff on my workbench over here that I'm going to be using. You guys don't necessarily need to use everything I use, but this is what I'm using. So basically, we're going to be sanding down the plastic. So I got 220, 400, 500, 1000, 1200, and 1500. Preferably, I'd like to go up to 2000, but I don't have 2000 laying around. So I'll just go with 1500 and hope that it does a good enough job. But you don't probably need to go down to 220. I'd probably say start around 300 or maybe something like 400 to start with. But because mine is really, really bad, I'm gonna go with 220 and try to get down that top layer of really, really like stuck on stuff. It's almost like there's a plasti dip or something on it, or someone spray painted it black and then took the paint off. But besides that, besides your sandpaper, you're going to want a nice little, some sort of block. You don't necessarily need a block, but it makes it easier for the job, so I got that. And then as well, I'm using a pick. This is for going into the scratches and getting whatever that black paint is out of it. And then as well, for final touch, you're going to probably want some sort of buffer or polisher or something like that, or you can just use like a microfiber towel or an applicator and just rub it in yourself. But you probably want some instant detailer, or just like actually wash it. I don't have any way to wash my wheeler at this house I'm at, so I'm stuck using just a microfiber towel and some instant detailer. And then if you are going to go with the buffing option, you can get yourself some compound and just some conditioner. Then as well, try to put this over here. There's also the propane torch method that we're going to also use for final touches. We're not going to go too crazy with that, but that's a good final touch. So yeah, that's basically everything that I'm going to be using. So let's get right into it now. Alright, so what you want to do when you're going to go get your sandpaper ready is you basically want to cut it up into pieces that you can use for your block. So I'm taking a little pair of scissors and I'm just going to cut it down the middle. Cut it down the middle like that, and then you're going to want to cut about maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches off the end, so that you get a perfect fit on your block. So toss it in like that, pinch it in, fold it over, and tuck it in like that. So yep, there you go. There's a little bit of a space in there, but it's not that big of a deal. And basically what you do from there is you got 2 sets of sandpaper to use. So you have your sanding block, and then you have your one for like a little individual thing. So what you can do is you toss in a bucket of soapy water. This isn't necessary, but wet sanding will make it easier, and it's a nice little thing to make it so that it works a little bit better. So we're just going to hit it with a microfiber towel real quick and just some random stuff. We're just going to try to pick up some of the dirt real quick off of the surface, just so we're not sanding into it too much. So this isn't even the instant detail, this is just a polishing compound nonsense for dust. Basically just rubbing it down, just trying to pick up any little loose debris so we don't clog up our sandpaper too much. Alright, from there we're going to start hitting it with sandpaper. I like to get a little bit of soapy water already on there, just so that we have a nice little bit to go off with. So, and then from there, well, it's time to get to the sanding. So this is going to be the long part. Yep, so after a while of use, your sandpaper, especially with the higher grit, is going to get worn down pretty fast. As you can see, I'm going pretty hard. So basically, once you start to notice that it's not being as effective as it was before, you probably know it's time to replace. Considering that the majority of your time trying to get down all this really rough stuff, if your paint is, if your plastics are as bad as mine, you're going to be spending a lot of your time with the 220, so you're definitely going to need to get it replaced. So basically, once you come to that point where you need to replace it, it's pretty simple. You're just going to, obviously again, you already got, yourself one piece cut out, so we're just going to take the old one out. Pop a new one in, cut it to size. And then you're ready to go. Got yourself a new piece on there, and continue going at it, trying to knock down all that rough stuff. So then basically when you're done hitting it with the block and you want to go into the tight corners, you grab that little piece that you cut off and you start hitting those edges with your fingers. So it allows you to go around the edges and contours of the actual panels themselves and hit the places that you weren't able to hit with just the standard block. So once you've knocked down a lot of the top stuff, what you can do now is go in with your pick. And you can really start to scrape away any of that residue of whatever the hell this stuff is in my case, or whatever you're trying to get out. Basically what this will allow you to do is get into those grooves that sandpaper misses, because the sandpaper really wants to go deep into those. So basically the sandpaper, when you go to try to scrape that stuff, will not get that deep stuff, because it is just simply too deep. So what you can do is go in with your pick, start scratching away at it. Once you get the top stuff, you can send away the rest. Basically you're just trying to scrape out a lot of that deeper stuff that the sandpaper can't reach. This is probably one of the most time consuming parts right here, is this first step. And after that, it's just sanding it down to a reasonable amount that you can buff out. But now, simply just start scraping and scraping and scraping. And this will take you a while. It will take you a very long time. But it's worth it if you're trying to get a nice looking paint job out of it. Now I'm not going to go too crazy, I'm just trying to get the basics out of it. Anything that's really, really visible. So yeah. Let's just continue grinding on it. Well, once you get finished with that, or you get bored, or you just say, "F it, I don't care anymore," you can go on to the next step, which is your next grit of sandpaper. So I'm just going to give that a nice wipe down now. And it's time to basically get rid of this shit. So let's see, our next one is 400 grit. So we're going to go from 220. 400. Alright, then we're on to the next one. We're going to continue working our way up. Now it should get easier that you're not spending 3 hours picking paint and dirt out of your plastics, so hopefully you'll go faster. we go through the different grits of sandpaper, it's basically going to be the same thing. So we're going to go ahead and get this done for 1,000, 12,000, 12,000, 1,200, and 1,000, and 1,500. So the rest of them, we're just going to get it done. Alright, now that you've sanded it with your highest grit that you have, for me it's 1,500, feel around for rough spots that are left that you might have missed sanding, and to hit those a couple more times with whatever sandpaper you want. I'm going to go with the 1,500 again and just try to smooth anything that I might have missed out. Make sure you just feel around with your hand for any of those rough spots. And then just hit them a bit more. And then, after you're done with that, we'll move on to the cleaning and then buffing stage. Well, now that we're done sanding, we're going to give her a good little rinse off, try to get any of the residual plastic shavings that could be left on it, or any kind of residue. Get that wiped off. We'll get our instant detailer. Give that a spritz. Alright, then once we got that cleaned off, we're going to go ahead and get the buffer ready. Alright, now that you're done with all that, we're going to get the buffer ready. You're going to want to get your compound and your conditioner, so just give her a little bit of a spray. You can spray the surface, get it just a little wet. So basically we got a little bit of sun coming out, which is not ideal for this because it will dry out fast, so we're just going to try to keep it moist at least, and hopefully the sun will go out, but here we go. Basically, anything you have in little spots we can hit with just rubbing it in with the microfiber towel. And as a finishing touch, you can hit it real quick. You can hit it real quick with a propane torch. Try to get some more shine out of the spots that didn't get too much shine. Alright, and there you are. That is the final look of the panel after it's cleaned up, sanded down, buffed, and hit a little bit with the propane torch. Don't go too hard on the propane torch or you will damage your plastics. It can make them brittle. But basically, that's what she looks like. No more swell marks. There's still a little bit of the black whatever in there, but it's a big difference from before. Looks much cleaner. Alright, thank you guys for watching. Peace.